What's up everybody, Shawn GILL CPA coming back at you with another video. Today we are going to cover the W-4 form in 2023. As you can see up here in the right hand corner, we're going to go over how to fill this out. So I want to go through the whole form. So let's get right into this. So first things first is step one, enter personal information. This is the easiest step. Enter your first name, middle initial, last name, social, address, city, state, and zip code. Step C, you'll want to make sure you enter your appropriate tax filing status that you're expecting to file for this coming year. So in the year 2023, when you do your taxes in 2024, are you going to have said that you were single, married filing separate, married filing jointly, head of household, whatever it may be? That's a choice you want to make. Moving on to step two, you only need to do step two if you have multiple jobs or you have a spouse that works. For most people, they have a spouse that works, and of course, some people have multiple jobs. So I'm going to cover how to do this step as well. So step 2A, this people kind of misinterpret what this means. It says reserved for future use. This is actually the IRS giving you a note, letting you know to not use anything with 2A because they're just holding a spot on the form for future updates. So ignore that. Step 2B and step 2C is where most people, along with 4B, make a mistake or get confused. So I'm going to fly through those first. So it says only do this if you held more than one job at a time, or if you are married filing jointly and your spouse also works, right? Like we mentioned. So let's go to doing 2B, which is use the multiple jobs worksheet on page 3. So we're going to scroll down, got some instructions here that are a lot harder than just watching this video. And we're going to come here to the step 2B multiple jobs worksheet. So you can see here we have 1, 2 jobs and 2, 3 jobs. For the average person, you most likely will have 2 jobs. So what you need to do is you need to go to the next page, which I'm going to go to, and use the higher paying job amount. There's a row, and then there's a lower paying job column. We're going to see where those two intersect, grab that amount, and put it on line 1 right here. Okay, so let's do that. So we're on page 4, higher paying job. See that? Let's say you make $100,000 or between $100,000 and $150,000, and your spouse makes between $40,000 and $50,000. So you would see where that intersects. See that right there, 8,590. You would enter that right here, just like that. Okay. If you have 3 jobs, it's a little bit different. You would skip step 1 and do step 2, which is you essentially do the same thing with the higher paying job row and the annual wages for the next higher paying job in the lower column. So wherever those 2 jobs intersect, you would grab that number, put it there. And then for the next job, the third job, you would add up the first 2 jobs and use that amount for this side, this row, and then this third job, use that amount for this column. So let's say you have 3 jobs. They're all pretty decent jobs. You have 2 that are 100,000 jobs and 1 that is a $50,000 job. For step 2B here, you're going to add in the $200,000 jobs and look at the $200,000 range column. And then you have your third job, which is a $50,000 job. You're going to look in the $50,000 intersection and use that number here. Then you're going to go to part 3 of that, which is just your pay periods. For most people, this is 24 or 26, right? You would put those in, do the division, put that number here, and then go and enter that number here for C. That's the extra withholding you would need if you have 2 or 3 jobs or your spouse works. Keep in mind that you need to do this on the W-4 for the highest paying job. Don't do this on all of them because then you'll double count your withholdings and you'll actually have too much withheld. Do it on the highest paying job, and then don't do it on the other lower paying jobs. Also, for ease, there's a little checkbox here on step 2, right? It says you can do this, just check this. It's more accurate than if you are assuming that your second job pays at least 50% of what the first job pays. So let's say you make 100,000 and your spouse makes 60,000, just check the box. It's much easier, it's much more straightforward. If you're not in that situation, let's say you make 100,000 and your spouse makes 30,000, then do step 2B, which is what I just walked you through. That'll get you a more accurate number. So good news, that step is the hardest. After that, it's a cakewalk from there. Step 3, claim dependent and credits. Multiply the number of qualifying children under age 17 by 2,000. And by the way, this is assuming that you as a single person have a job that pays you less than 200,000, or as a married filing jointly couple, 400,000 or less. So let's say you have 2 kids, you would put 4,000 here. And then let's say you have a other dependent. An other dependent would be like a parent that you take care of. Let's say your mom lives with you and she's a dependent of yours. So you would put 500 here for that. Common misconception, I've had people ask me before if their spouse counts as another dependent. So if you're, let's say, a husband or wife who works and the other spouse does not work, you cannot claim them as an other dependent. It's more for like, let's say your brother's out of work and he's a dependent of yours, he has a illness or something, or your mom or dad, things like that. And then you would take that combined amount, in this case it would have been 4,500, and enter 4,500 there. Step 4 is optional, but this is where you would have put the extra withholding that we would have calculated in the step 2B equation. And then if you wanted even more accurate withholding, let's assume you don't file with the standard deduction, you actually itemize. Let's say you just have a lot of medical expenses and state taxes as well as mortgage interest. You can put your itemized deductions here in 4B. They also have a worksheet to calculate this. It's just at the second half of the page 3, which is essentially just put what you think your itemized deductions are going to be for 2023, make an estimate, put the standard, whatever the difference is, then add in your student loan interest, deductible IRA contributions, and other kind of various items. For most people, this doesn't apply. Add that number together, and then you put that on 4B right here. You do that, and then you would sign this. By the way, above here, this actually has to be signed in ink. You can't digitally sign this in ink, date it, and then you submit it to your employer for the job. Remember, the highest paying job if you have multiple. If you have multiple jobs, your other W-4s would not reflect those withholding calculations, and neither would your spouses. And then your employer will fill this part out, and they will use that in the HR department to determine how to withhold your pay from your paychecks, and it'll show up in your biweekly paycheck. And that's it. You've completed the W-4 for employing the employee's withholding certificate. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, leave me a comment below. Appreciate you subscribing to the channel. It helps me grow the channel and helps me produce more useful content for people on the internet. And if you need help with your actual tax filing, there's a link in the description below to book a call with me directly, and we can talk about your tax situation. I can give you a quote, and then we can talk about what it looks like for us to work together. Appreciate it. Thank you.
So that was the end of this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, leave a comment. It helps me grow the channel. If you need help with your taxes, you can book a call with me directly at the link below in the description, and you can also sign up for our email list. We only send out an email about once a month, and that's everything I need to tell you. So I will see you guys in the next video. I'm out. Peace. Have a good day. Appreciate the views.